Hi, I'm Bob Dixon. Welcome to the Leader's Edge Hot Takes edition of the Five Eagles Insight Podcast. For over 3 decades, I served in the military as an engineer and as a strategist, and I learned a few things about leadership. We know that it goes beyond theory. It's about real-world application. So in this series, sponsored by Five Eagles Leadership, we feature industry leaders and share their leadership journeys with you. My mission's simple. It's to help you become the best leader you can be. Now, if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to be considered as a guest in upcoming episodes, please go to 5eaglesleadership.com/interview and apply today. Now, let's get started.
Hey, welcome back to the Leaders Edge podcast, where we talk to leaders in every industry about leadership challenges and wins. And today we're talking to Shaji Nair, and he's with NDoc PM, and that's a practice management platform for endocrinologists. Shaji, first of all, thank you for being here. And second, tell us what's an endocrinologist so that our audience understands what your platform is servicing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and to share my journey. Endocrinologists are those who are specialized in dealing with primarily chronic conditions. These are diseases like diabetes, thyroid conditions, non-fancy designation. They are not like a cardiologist or a orthopedic, but they deal with some of the most complex conditions that cost a lot of money for our healthcare system.
So that's a pretty important sector of healthcare right there. And I think a lot of people see the emergency room and they see the intensive care providers because that's what gets on TV.
Yep.
And what doesn't get on TV are the day after day after day visits with specialists in particularly chronic illnesses.
Yeah.
So it's an incredibly important part of our healthcare system that probably doesn't get a lot of attention. So how are you helping them?
Oh, thank you. So if you look at it, last year, U.S. Healthcare spending crossed 4.5 trillion, which if you take it on its own, it's bigger than the GDP of Germany. And Germany is the largest economy in Europe. And we have one of the poor outcome related to expenditure to healthcare and outcome for healthcare, health outcomes. So we were looking at data to understand why this imbalance is a lot of money spent, but the poor outcomes. And we started building data analytics capability, and that's how we learned a lot of these patients go to endocrinologists, but the endocrinologist does not have a real solution except helping to manage the patients with recommendations. And you go to an endocrinologist, they say you need to change your lifestyle, eat better, be active, all those things. They come out of the practice. Now suddenly they have to go back to work, or they need to know, how do I find the nutritionist? How do I find it? Is it my insurance covers? Then they drop the ball. And after 6 months, they come back. The situation has got slightly worse. And over the years, it gets worse and worse. So we decided, let's work with the endocrinologist, identify the challenges they have, identify the problems their patients face, and develop a practice management solution that addresses the complex needs of an endocrinologist and their patients. And in turn, we could reduce the overall healthcare costs.
That's a big mission to be on, is to get there's a lot to unpack there. So I think some of the challenge that I see from this, right, is that you don't have a good accountability system for patients to actually implement the self-care portion of the process. I think there's another problem that many endocrinologists are not trained in nutrition and exercise. And so that's not their specialty. And they say, okay, you need to lose weight, you need to get more exercise, but there's no connection to how that gets actually implemented. And again, it goes back to the accountability, a lack of accountability, and then the ability to manage all of that as a system. So this is where your platform steps in. Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct.
Great.
So a couple of things is also you identified. One would be also the access to nutritionists. So if you're an independent small clinic with 2 or 3 endocrinologists, or even a single endocrinology practice, or even in hospitals, you don't have a nutritionist on facility. There you are referring to a nutritionist, probably an third party facility. You have to call them, schedule an appointment. Sometimes you don't have the availability, and you're trying to provide the insurance. So there is this recycling of the same information of insurance, vetting the eligibility, and then so how do you synchronize that within the one facility so that you don't have to repeat the whole process? Give the accessibility to the patient, but also patient needs, other than the nutrition, lifestyle changes, activities, managing stress, how do you sleep better? There's a whole range of expertise that a independent practice cannot provide. And that's where we thought we could bring in data from wearables, Apple Health, Google Health, right? Then provide personalized, so somebody with the diabetes at a certain age, with certain weight and height, with activity level, could get help from day-to-day personalized nutrition recommendations, activity recommendation that can be visible to the physician to see, instead of listening to them after 6 months, to say, what have you done with last 6 months? Have you worked out? Have you ran? What did you eat? How was your diet? All those things. Here, doctors get real-time data, and they can understand within their population or patient population who is at risk, who needs attention early. So you can do early intervention in addition to providing more personalized treatment plans.
Well, that's awesome, and I think if more people had that, and let's just call it more holistic approach to wellness, and I don't want to confuse wellness and healthcare, because our healthcare system is tied up. It's a very complicated confluence of insurance and pharmaceuticals and PBMs. There's a lot of money that's floating around there. But as an individual patient or a business leader who's looking at the wellness of the people within their organization, this is more of a holistic wellness perspective rather than a let's treat an individual, say acute condition.
Correct. Very good. So it's a combination of early detection, understanding within a population who is at risk, proactively helping them, but also giving priority to those who need the most attention rather than who just want to see a doctor, right? And I can give you one unique example of an organization. This is a Macomb County School District in Michigan. So we had, with an endocrinologist in Michigan, we did a pilot project on how yoga can benefit those with diabetes, right? And with an additional nutrition recommendation, small sample population, around 18 people over a 12-week period. We did initial blood work, 6-week blood work, 12-week blood work. Both qualitative and quantitative results were awesome. When I say qualitative, improved sleep, mobility. I had a veteran who was 78-year-old who moved his toes for the first time in 18 years. We've had a participant who was 81-year-old who was able to stand up on her own without any walking stick for 3 hours, which she had hardly a chance. So these were reported out, but their blood work showed lowered their A1C. So in that group, we had one participant who was a teachers union president who had a lot of improvement, took it back to the school district and said, this done extremely good for me. I would like to try it with my teachers union members, right? So the school said, this is a new company. They're just starting out. This is not deployed anywhere else. And I said, don't worry, let's do a pilot. So we did a small pilot, 20 people, all 20 said, this is fantastic for us, 12 weeks. Then they increased to a larger group of 208 people, participants. They all gave a thumbs up, and the school district just last week deployed our platform for their employee health and wellness. So it's a combination of AI powered personal nutrition activity recommendations with access to nutritionists, lifestyle experts, but also it starts to generate your own personal lifestyle plan. So it's starting to learn about you, communicate with you. In a couple of weeks, we'll deploy audio capability, which will provide them an ability to converse with our application to say, hey, what should I eat today? Kind of questions.
Incredibly useful. What other industries have you looked at?
We've worked with the endocrinologist, and we also work with the school district. And being a company which is 2 year plus, both product development and deployment. Right now, from an endocrinologist side, we are literally full. We are deploying. We cannot take any more customers this year. We are all until December. We are fully booked for deployments, and we are hiring more people to help us with speed up or expand our deployment. School district, we just deployed for one school district last week, but we would be having a conversation with a little bit more of the school districts in Michigan. But this can be used for example, a EMR system that's working with a group of doctors. This could be an value-added service within that ecosystem, or like you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, employers who are looking to improve their employees' productivity, health, and wellness. This could also be a standalone platform. Or for agencies like Veterans Affairs, who has a larger population, who need constant monitoring, but also does not require no personal human interference, but technology can help with providing them the care they need, but also automate a lot of this process so they get the attention they need, but also identify who among that population is at risk.
Awesome. So if you get traction with this, how big of an impact is this going to be on the healthcare system?
I mean, it would be preposterous for me to say how much of an impact, but from a smaller population, what we found is that people have qualitatively improved their activity level, lifestyle, their ability to sleep, reduce their stress, but also they feel powerful or empowered that they have access to resources, knowledge, and expertise on their fingertip. Even if it is snowing, they don't have to worry about how am I going to get my wellness today, or how do I do my meal plan. All those expertise are on their fingertip. So from that sense, and reducing even twice the visit to the physician for an insurance company, it saves a lot of money. So that's directly impacting, let's say if it's Medicare, they save maybe 20 to 30% in terms of cost. But for a physician like endocrinologist, they are able to meet more patients so that they are still able to provide the value they have. So, for example, we work with a doctor who was the past president of the American Association of Clinical Endocrinology, Dr. Grunberger. He might have a lot of patients. He's so busy, he speaks around the world. He may not be able to see all his patients, right, in multiple times, but something like this provides him the ability to deliver a value to his patient, but also able to see who among his patient needs the most attention. So from that aspect, creates more efficiency of identifying which patient needs the most attention. So efficiency level, in our just a sample of 3 or 4 doctors, 20 to 30% more patients can be seen by the physician. But from a patient perspective, it is complete change that what they could not achieve before, getting a personal meal plan, getting a recommendation, ability to figure out what to do in terms of activity. They are getting that on their fingertip that they did not have access to before, unless you are a very wealthy individual who can go to all these yoga studios, gym, and other personal trainers. Now you have on your fingertip. So that's a very big change for a patient. But within the health system, I would say it would reduce the cost 30%.
That's amazing. And I think that's a worthwhile goal. Okay, so we have a pretty good understanding of your platform. Let's talk about your business a little bit. How many people do you have at the company?
Yeah, so we don't, as a business, we are right now at around 46, 47 employees. And we have a combination of nutritionists, AI engineers, and very low. I mean, we have a very low number of admin officials, so predominantly technologists and nutritional and lifestyle experts.
That's an interesting combination of people. How do you lead across all of those different disciplines? How do
Correct.
you keep them all straight?
Yeah. So even though I said we work with data analysts, endocrinologists, I think the future is where we would be able to replace most of the primary care with automation, with generative AI. I think you would have more efficient, more impactful, more accessible primary care that's driven by AI, and that can be, more less costly for all of us, individuals, etc., because most of these diagnoses are machine driven anyway, if we can do AI. So our mission is to build capabilities that ultimately in the next 3 to 4 years would provide primary care using the power of AI, right? So from that aspect, so whatever we build, our architecture, our goal is to build every day. End of the day, we ask, how far are we from that mission, right? So if we are building a nutritional capability, is it how personalized is it? No, is it giving them? Are they taking into consideration their prescription drug? It's taking consideration in terms of all their other histories. So we kind of continue to enhance that, and building automation into audio, speech recognition, ability to have a conversation. I think it will be that we are taking one step at a time from that aspect. So as somebody who's leading the organization, my question is, how are we improving a patient's life, or how are we impacting that? So we make small measures on a daily basis, which is an approach I'm trying out, which is so far working very well for me. Instead of setting a 2-week sprint goal or a 1-month goal, we measure it every day. We say, end of the day, we as a team look at and say, what did we do today that is going to improve the life of our end users, in our case, patients, right? And if we can keep focus on that, and if I can bring my team to focus on that, I think we've done a great job for that day and for the days to come.
That's in classic leadership parlance, that's saying, let's stay focused on the vision every single day.
Yes.
The other big piece of that is focusing on values.
Yes.
And the values that you've got. Can you talk to me about your values within your company?
Yeah. So we went into, so I'm as a parent, we have me, and we have a child who is 18-year-old autistic. So our journey was starting to build, what do we do that will impact humanity, some after we leave the earth or whatever that happens. We want to leave something that had a positive impact on humanity, right? So taking a challenge like autism was a little far-fetched for us, but we knew we could reach there, but we wanted to build capabilities that will ultimately take us to solving the challenge with autism, whether it's neural network or those kind of capabilities. So what we look at today is whatever we are building as a platform and capability, we are enabling. We don't look at the business as how much is the revenue, how many customers, how many new doctors we enroll. We look at how that would, even if we have one user, how that one user will benefit from it. And we go out of our way to proactively reach out to them and ask them whether we know that some users would not look at their mobile application or something to find the meal plan, because if they have done it, they don't need our help because they are already doing this because they've been already said. So we make sure we send them via email, we give them text message, all those things for them to access the capability. And more importantly, it costs zero money from their pocket. It is all covered through the insurance as a part of the chronic care management. So we are able to deliver value and services that the patient doesn't have to pay for it, but they are accessible to it, and we reach with them proactively. So we ask that question while we internally ask the question, how did we improve the patient or make their life better? We ask individuals the same question, that how is it helping you? What is that we can do more so that it helps you, right? So when we found it through our school program, not all teachers can attend a 7 a.m. session because they leave their home. They're 1 hour away. They might leave at 5:30. So we started scheduling sessions for them at 5 a.m. Right, and some come home later. So we adapted to that need. So every day we look at both. We willing to hear from our end users what they like to do better, and we trained our AI to do that. Right, so we are building that capability. I think our AI is starting to learn more about individuals, more about the capabilities. I think we will have a powerful engine, as it continues to learn.
I think you're going to have a powerful engine, absolutely. And if the insurance companies, and it's an interesting problem, right? It's a very complex problem. The
Yeah.
insurance companies may or may not see the incentive of the holistic approach because there's a lot of money that flows through the existing system, the way it's set up. So you're talking about making a pretty radical change to the way things are done and to promote wellness as opposed to after the fact healthcare.
Yeah, so we focused on what has proven to work. No shortcuts. Nothing. We are not. There is no. We don't sell any medicine. No vitamins. Nothing. It's just purely lifestyle change. What you eat. Change your nutrition. What you consume. What kind of food you eat based on your health condition and the kind of activities you need to do. Take into consideration somebody cannot do a lot of strength exercise if you're at 70, 75. What is personal for you, right? And from that aspect, I think there is a case to be made compared to many of these weight loss drugs, which cost a couple of $1,000s a month for the insurance companies. Ours might be a much more smarter choice, more healthier choice, and possibly that there is, I can guarantee there's no side effects because we have no medicine. No thing. Only thing is positive for us. So from that aspect, I think there is a case for the insurance company to be made to say this is something you need to introduce as early as from school years so that you can benefit from building a healthier, more informed society. Because for somebody like me, I did not know what is healthy eating until I started learning this, right? So there's a lot of people who develop habits that over a period of 20, 30, 40 years, then suddenly you are starting to, because once they get the disease, then you're asking them to change. It's a tough change. Human beings, once you get used to a lifestyle, the challenge of changing is very difficult. So we think there might be a case to be made that we could start early, some of those capabilities, and we can deploy them at a very, very low cost. And the returns are huge for the country and for the health of the country.
That's, I think, a noble cause. The wisdom is sound. The question is whether or not the insurance company will subscribe to that wisdom. And I think if they are forward thinking, they will. But it remains to be seen because there's been a lot of preventive methodologies that insurance companies probably should be buying into, but not all of them do.
Yeah.
So
And
you've got
very
to.
true, very true. And Bob, one reason is they find a lot of these solutions are proven, but the operational deployment is very challenging, correct? So
Yes.
everybody knows eating well is good. The insurance company agreed. There's nobody disputing it. If everybody knows if you have a better activity, you have a more healthier lifestyle. But how do you operationalize? That's the challenge, correct? The companies offer employees gym membership, equipment membership, all those things. But the thing is, you buy the membership, and if you don't go there, nothing happens, correct? And these were the challenges we are addressing. If you don't go there, that's okay. We give it to you. We don't. We are gonna just give you this wherever you are. You sit there. We give you an alert to say, hey, your heart rate is slightly higher. Maybe take a break. Right, and that if you do it for like the next couple of years, you might live maybe 6 months or 1 year longer because it will reduce some of the blockage. Right, so giving that alert when they need, rather than trying to find medicines that you can take in the middle of the night.
Very cool. This is such a great project. I think the challenges that you have from a leadership perspective of having so many different kinds of people working on the same project requires a special kind of leadership, Shaji. And I think having that focus on vision and consistently reiterating your values is, from a leadership standpoint, the right recipe for getting everybody pointed in the same direction with the same mindset. And I applaud you for that. So this is great. What's next for you, Shaji?
Yeah, so we have a couple of big conversations with health systems and one or two large EMRs who wants to integrate us. Then that will obviously scale us up into a sizable company, and we look forward to grow from there. But we also want to be focused on the lane we are in. When I say lane, it's the endocrinologist and the chronic care management, but we are also working with the school system. These two groups are pretty important for us, but we've learned among this from a business that we were always ready to pivot, right? And when we started out, as I said, we started building data analytics capability to now what I'm doing in generative AI to build personal health and wellness capabilities. Is that every day we ask that question, how are we making life changing? And that means the world around is also changing, both technology, capabilities, practices, and innovation. So we were ready to pivot as the opportunity raises. So we see a lot more opportunity in providing um, healthcare and expert healthcare to those who need it at the moment they need it, rather than trying to find an appointment 3 months down the road, right? So from that aspect, I think one philosophy, as I said, is measuring the progress, what delivery we make for the patients. Second is to adapt our business to changing times, but we are always pivoting based on the feedbacks we get. And the third is to build an organization, which we built bootstrap. We've got a lot of offer on capital. We decided, because the philosophy requires us to focus and build, so we were bootstrapped from the beginning. So we are in a really good space right now in terms of our revenue growth, and our future looks very bright from growing stage. So my next challenge will be, from a small company that is in a growing space, building the right team who aligns with that
Yes.
vision. Because as soon as you start to grow, then it becomes challenging. Are they everybody aligned to the same vision? Finding the right people and making sure you don't lose focus of the mission just because you are making money, correct? So we want to make sure staying focused on our vision, but building a team that is aligned to our vision is going to be next set of challenges.
Well, I agree with you, and I think I've worked a lot in the startup world as a leadership coach and a business coach, and I have watched so many great ideas
Yeah,
never make it to market because the founders often get focused on their product or service, and they forget that there's a business that has to be built around that to bring
correct.
it to market and to continue to deliver. But it sounds like you've got it focused in the right places, and you're spot on. Building the right team is going to be the great challenge, and using your values as the litmus test as to whether or not these competent people belong on the team is going to be a huge success story for you.
True, very true. So one thing we started doing, which I'm starting to experiment with, but it has been proven a little, positive for us. Every member in the team is involved in the process of hiring. So whether they might do the first level of screening, setting up an appointment, or maybe a second level of interview, or helping with finalizing. So there is this internal mechanism. We kind of looked at it. Everyone is have some role to play in bringing a new member, at least one step of that hiring
Yeah,
process.
that's a good way to make sure that they are a great cultural fit.
Right.
Shaji, thank you so much for telling your
Thank you, Bob.
story and sharing that with my listeners. Quickly tell us how people can best get in touch with you.
So the website is friska.ai and endocpm.com. So endocpm, endocpm.com. And we have an AI product that we are rolling out, which is friska.ai, friska.ai.
All right, Frisket.ai and ndocpm.com. Two great ways to see what Shaji is up to and how things are going in moving the ball forward on a
Thank you.
holistic solution to some of our healthcare problems. Shaji, can't thank you enough for being here, man. This has been great.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. All the best.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Leader's Edge Hot Take series. I hope you found today's insight meaningful, valuable, and that you're ready to put them into action. Now, if you enjoyed the episode and want to keep improving your leaderships, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. I post new content every week, packed with strategies, tips, and real-life examples to help you lead with impact. Now remember, great leadership isn't just about guiding others, it's about continuously growing yourself. If you'd like to be considered as a guest for upcoming episodes, please go to 5eaglesleadership.com/interview to apply today. Keep pushing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next episode. Be awesome.